All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Wise Builders Live, and we're in the studio today. And joining me is my co-host Evan Kilpatrick. Evan, how goes it?
What's going pretty well. I think the last time we were together, we were discussing the new heights that your Instagram was hitting, and
Yeah.
I don't think that was 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Uh huh.
And some interesting things have happened since crossing that 50,000 mark.
Yeah. I'm now at 119,000 people, which is wild. This video just continues to take off, and I think at the current time, that video has gone to over 15.5 million people that have watched it. And I have had the craziest encounters with childhood heroes, excuse me, to, I mean, from worship artists that I haven't heard from since I was a kid, to professional wrestlers, to Netflix producers. It's crazy. It's wild. So I have learned to say no a ton since this video's gone viral, which means um when a video goes viral like this, and of course it went viral on an Instagram tip, and so people immediately think, okay, well, this guy, that's what he does social media, so can you manage my social media? And I'm like, no. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I teach Instagram tips for content creators that are launching digital products. And so it's like, what is the business of Mark Casto? What does he do through Wise Builders business community? I am not managing people's social media. I'm teaching content creation, because your digital product doesn't just magically appear in people's email and you make money off of that. Like, that's just not how it works. But it's interesting, because I feel like, and maybe this is a whole podcast, if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you're about, like if you don't have your niche picked and you don't know who you are, a viral video could ruin your life. Um, Seriously. Like, I know we talk about viral videos and how they can change your life in the positive. That's 100% absolutely true. But like, now I'm like, should I start a community for people that have faced depression now that they're burnt out in their business because they said yes to every opportunity that came to them through a viral video?
Mhm.
So that part has been super interesting, just to experience that level of demand, because they're like, they see you giving really valuable content about a particular thing, and so then they assume that's your niche, and they don't see the bigger picture. They'll ask you to do crazy stuff. And so, but what's wild is you could make money off of everything that they have asked you to do. You could make money off of managing their social media. You could figure that out. That's just not, I'm not passionate about running people's social media. I'm passionate about you creating content that makes people want to buy your digital product so that you can have a legitimate online business. So, moral of the story is, this viral video has changed my life in an amazing way, given me a lot of opportunities. But because I know who I am, know what I'm about, know what I want to do, I've been able to graciously say no to a lot of opportunities. But it's also really helped me dial in what I actually want to do even more effectively. So it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, one of the things that you mentioned that I find interesting, and it's been a lot of things. I found myself in conversations talking about this principle, but one of the things you mentioned about this viral video and how it's opened you up to new levels of opportunity, leverage, for lack of
Hmm.
a better phrase. But in a book that I think you've read, it's called 10x is easier than 2x.
I've never read that one.
Oh, it's on your reading list, top of your reading list, actually. And for anybody who's watching, highly recommend it. Um, and I won't spoil it for you, but essentially, I think it was Alex Ramosi give this analogy. So if we're in the studio right here and I said, "Mark, I need you to leave here and travel 1 block down the road as fast as you can." You're probably gonna leave here and run to the elevator and go down to the ground floor and then take off running to the, destination.
Elevator's too slow. I'm taking the stairs.
Okay, elevator's too slow. He's taking the stairs. He wants to break the record.
Yes.
Um, the record that nobody's
Yeah,
even has.
but you said I gotta do it the
You gotta do it the
fastest.
fastest you can. That's
Yeah,
right. So now if I instead said, "I need you to go from here," instead of 1 block, I need you to go 10 blocks away. Now you could probably think, "I can sprint that." And maybe by the time you got to the bottom of the stairs, got outside, you would think, "I actually could probably drive faster than I could sprint."
for sure.
Right? Most people may instantly think, "Okay, I can maybe run there," but then you automatically think, "Well, I probably could get there faster if I change vehicles."
Yeah.
In essence, that is the concept of 10x is easier than 2x. So when you previously were didn't have a viral video, didn't have the thousands of followers that you have, you were doing the same things that you're doing now.
Mhm.
The difference is there's a completely different vehicle and completely different opportunity and scope of opportunity that is before you. Um, Now, with this thought process of changing vehicles, it's it's actually coming up and finding beliefs that we have that are wrong and that are keeping us from succeeding, from making more money, from having more influence, from having a greater impact. And it's very important for us to evaluate these beliefs. And there's some interesting conversations I'm having with some people that I'm working with to where we've looked at our numbers, we looked at our projections, and we kind of see where the business is at and we see where we want it to be, and it's basically 10 times what we're currently doing.
Right.
So the instant thought process that a lot of people have and they find themselves in having is, okay, if I'm putting in this full time effort, I'm working 40, 50 hours a week doing what I'm currently doing, and it's going to take 10 times the amount of that to get what I'm wanting to do. It's the equivalent of saying, I'm currently sprinting to get 1 block. I've got to go 10. I don't know if I can do it. And that thought, that belief, coming into alignment with that belief of I have to somehow work harder to get further because that's what I've done to get this to this certain point. That belief is the very thing that keeps people caged in and unable to break through.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about what you're saying is I actually scaled back so that I could have the breakthrough that we're now experiencing on social media.
Hmm.
So, so when I first started this journey, basically I was like, okay, if we're going to reach as many people as we can and try to sell the product that we offer for our business, I've got to be posting more. I've got to be more diligent. And so, to the point that I hired somebody to start posting reels and taking my content, creating reels, posting single posts, carousel posts, all that kind of stuff. And so, like, if you look at my Instagram now, basically all you're going to see is reels on my Instagram. You don't even see single posts, you don't see carousel posts. I literally have about 3 reels that go out a week. So I literally have dropped my about 2.5 months ago when I got serious about dialing in my content for Instagram. I made the decision we're just going to do reels, but we're going to do them very strategically. We're going to research the top 20 hashtags in the niche that I'm in. We're going to study viral videos and what they do, and we're going to dial in our messaging. And so we cut back on every other post. So literally a third of what we post before is what I is the adjustment I made 2.5 months ago. But I got it dialed in, and then 2 months later, you know, I've got a viral video that has taken off, and I literally do a third of the posting that I did prior to that, and that's what when I went viral.
Wow.
And so, whatever, like, and I'm not saying that single posts are not important. I'm not saying carousel posts don't work. I have a friend of mine who literally posts carousel posts of his notes in his phone and gets like 1,000 plus likes, which is crazy for a single post or a carousel post for an audience his size. But he'll get so much engagement off of a carousel post. But that's what he does. And, you know, that's what he's dialed in. And I think a lot of people don't recognize this. They think that more equals more opportunities to reach more people. But in their pursuit of more, they're actually disrupting the algorithm, and they're actually confusing it on their behalf. And again, um, I think that we live in a world where we look at like a guy like Gary Vee and we go, he's telling us to post on everything and post about everything and do everything. And it's like, um, I mean, does it work? Well, don't forget that he spent like years doing wine tasting and just talking about one thing for a long time on a YouTube video or like a YouTube channel for a long period of time. And he built a massive audience to now he can do whatever he wants. He's got an audience where he can literally just pitch whatever he wants. But that's because now he has the attention of
Mhm.
so many people that he got from dialing in his content.
Mhm.
And so like there probably will be a day, and I hope it's sooner rather than later because I'm really stirred up that I want to post on a lot of things. But initially, for you to get breakthrough on social media, sorry to turn this into an Instagram training here, but when we think posting more equals more opportunity, when in all actuality, if you're posting about 5 different subjects, then the algorithm goes, "I don't know where to send your content." Because over here you're talking about, food, and then over here you're talking about marriage, and then over here you're talking about the podcast world, and over here you're talking about how you're a fan of '80s music. And it's like, I don't know where to send your stuff because you keep confusing me. And people think, well, the algorithm's working against me. I got to figure out the algorithm. You don't have to figure out the algorithm. Let me teach you how the algorithm works in very simple terms. Okay. The goal of a social media platform is to get a customer, or AKA, they call them users. That's probably a problem. And they they want them to stay on their platform as long as possible, because longer they spend time on there, more ads go out, more money is exchanged. That's how the game works, right? They want to keep that person on there. So they study what that person looks at, what they're most interested in. They even study how long somebody looks at something or engages with something. So we see analytics in our social media and go, oh, they can show me age, gender, um, and they can show me how many views I've had or whatever. But their analytics is like they can tell you who if that person looked at a post for 1 second or not.
Mhm.
And so they're looking at, okay, what thing does that person watch that keeps them on this platform the longest? And they keep sending them that kind of content. So the best thing that you can do as a content creator is quit trying to post about everything that you're doing and pick a niche, pick a subject, and learn how to talk about that subject 1,000 different ways, but just make it about that one subject. So instead of trying to give marriage advice, food, and '80s music, let's pick one. And let's say that you pick '80s music. And I'm doing this for my friend Bobby Limley because he loves '80s music. If that's what you would just focus on and talk about for the next 30 days, 60 days, And I guarantee you between 60 and 90, if something hadn't already taken off, you're going to have a video that's going to skyrocket because you've picked the right hashtags. You have, which is search engine optimization, SEO. It helps with all of that. You got really good caption and you keep talking about the same thing. Now the algorithm knows where to send your content to. They're going to send your 80s music, your love for 80s music to all the other people that are on Instagram searching and love watching 80s music, talk and video and etc. The algorithm is just trying to figure you out, but you're posting a selfie of you in the bathroom, which is gross, number 1. Number 2, you're posting about what you ate, and you're posting about your children, and you're posting about 70,000 different things, and the algorithm's like, "I don't know what to do with your stuff." So, therefore, it just goes to the people who are actually just interested in you as a person.
Which keeps your audience small.
Exactly. Um, so I love what you're saying because it's so true. But thank God I learned that lesson before it exploded, which is why it exploded, which was more doesn't equal more.
Mhm.
But really dialing it in means you don't have to do all of that to get that kind of attention, which leads to another point we could talk about, which is um, that if less is more, then if you do all the think work that's necessary to dial in your niche, then it's really not hard for you to develop an online business or to develop a business in general.
Yeah.
So I love that. So anyways, I'm saying all that to say I love what you're saying about the 10x is easier than 2x because it's so true. And now that now that I know less is more, then I really am trying. And it doesn't mean I'm not tempted by the opportunities.
Right.
Like I am legitimately right now. You and I had a conversation yesterday. I'm trying to figure out how to serve the people who are following me now because of a social media tip. And so I came into the office because we all work in this same building. I came to you yesterday and was like, here's what I'm thinking. We're going to do an Instagram starter pack. So, by the way, for those of you watching right now, we actually have a product now available where we give you 7 scripted reels and the template for reels so that you can learn how to make viral content yourself. And so that's live online right now. But what we're building out is a whole Instagram starter pack for people that really want to take social media seriously. And if you're going to have a business in this modern world, you better take it serious because it's the way you reach people, period. And we're going to develop a product for hooks, scripted reels, and templates so that people can have a professional look to their Instagram along. And then my thought was, then I'll do an Instagram strategy call. And you're like, don't do that because you're going to continue to give more hours of your day when you could just develop a video training to give them the same effect. And I, in essence, will be able to 10x my Instagram starter pack and its effectiveness because I remove me trading time for money and create a resource one time that's going to continually give value to people. That to me, that is the principle we're talking about.
That's right.
Is don't continue to trade hours for dollars because you can still trade hours for dollars even if you're doing it for $1,000 at a time
That's right.
or $100 at a time. You're still limited with your time. And so, like yesterday when you said that, it was like, duh, Mark. But I love people, so it's like I'm always like I wouldn't mind jumping on a call with somebody and you're like, yeah, 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 I get that. However, if you removed yourself from the time equation and you created a really good video training, then guess what? That's the difference between you helping 5 people and 500.
Mhm.
And now I realize, okay, this Instagram starter pack is going to be video training with these things, and people are going to be able to have a full blown Instagram education, and I can help 5,000 people rather than five.
Right. Absolutely.
So that I think that speaks to the principle that you're talking about today, which is, you know, 10x is a lot easier than than 2x.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the again, highly recommend that book. There's several stories inside of that book, but part of the journey
I'm gonna
is
go order it right now.
part of the journey is becoming the version of yourself that is able to do 10x instead of 2x. And who's this quote from? I can't remember who. I think it's um I don't know how to pronounce his name. Like Paulo Paulo Coelho, I think. He wrote a book called The Alchemist, which is an
Mhm.
amazing book. But I think this quote was from him, which was this question of what if we're not actually becoming someone else? And I'm going to butcher the rest of the quote, but we're basically losing the things that's not really who we are.
Mm.
And take that same butchered quote and partner it with the story that's actually in 2x or 10x is easier 2x about Michelangelo and the the statue of David that he made
Mhm.
out of marble. And it's a well-known, well-quoted concept where basically when he was asked like how did you come up with this statue, how did you design this masterpiece, and he basically was like, it's a slab of marble. I had to take what was not a part of the statue away.
Yeah,
I had to remove those things that were not a part of the masterpiece.
right.
Um, and that's all a part of this journey. So even for example, for this context that you gave for yesterday, whenever we had this conversation, part of you, and I guess we're gonna just do a little coaching right here.
Do it.
Part of you in this process that's being held back is your um, desire to have that personal connection and the ability, or the I should say the willingness to spread that as much as possible, when in reality you've only got 24 hours in a day.
Right.
We all do. Um, so when you start leveling up in the world of opportunities and business and all these things, there are some things that just can't go with you. And this it's not that it's um I want a shift of how I care about people, but in reality it's I'm choosing to care about people more by changing that part of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, there's so much intentionality that goes into one-on-one coaching and one-on-one training. And I'm like, but I've learned even in conversations with Orlando, who's over here doing the producing part, he's been doing um, some training inside of Wise Builders business community on hospitality in digital for digital entrepreneurs and how to implement hospitality in what we're doing. And hospitality really is expressed best in the word intentionality. And so, like, okay, so if I'm not able to give myself to more one on one stuff, but I really want to help people, there's no reason why I can't develop courses and programs that have that intentionality baked into um, the offer that I make.
Mhm.
So it's like, why don't I take, and this is where I'm at right now. I'm taking the one-on-one coaching that I'm doing with the clients that I have, and I'm really leaning into those conversations, and I'm realizing there are common needs in all of these conversations.
Mhm.
So when I develop the group coaching aspect, which we're working on that right now. When I develop that, um, basically, I can now take those common things that I know are gonna require more intentionality, and I can put that into a course or a program in a way that serves them as if I was doing one-on-one coaching.
Exactly.
And I think that's another example of the 10x is easier than 2x, is that when I start noticing these common threads, I can continue to upgrade the experience of the group, and they're still going to get the same level of intentionality as if I was on the phone with them. It's just coming in a different form. I've created a form for that, or I've created a PDF for that, or I've created a video training for that, um, which then really makes me realize I have put a lot of intentionality into Wise Builders business community. And I'm like, really, if somebody was able to see it correctly, if they would join Wise Builders business community and participate in the group coaching calls, can learn the same thing at that level as they can with the one-on-one training. The difference in the what group and individual training is accelerated results.
Mhm.
And so that's the one thing that I do notice. Like, if you were to just go in and watch the courses of Wise Builders Business Community, you're going to learn everything that you need to know. It's just going to take longer. But if you jump on group training, you can accelerate those results because I'm in it with you, showing you what the next step is, showing you how, so you're right. All that to say you're right in the sense of we can do things in our business that makes it so much easier for us. And this is, I know this sounds crazy, but like literally, I'm seeing that example that you're sharing, and it's like if I was only to go a block from here, I would just run straight out of the building and go to the next block. But going a block is not that impressive. Ten blocks is pretty impressive. But then immediately I go, yeah, but I've got a car that I can jump in right now and get there. And so I guess like since you've said that, I'm seeing everything now like, oh, I've got a car here,
Mhm.
you know? And I hope that that's what people are getting out of this conversation today is you probably don't recognize it yet, but 10x is easier than 2x. You don't have to run 10 blocks. Put the key in the car and hit drive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's so important because our beliefs literally shape our reality. They
Yeah.
shape the world that we are gonna be, creating.
Yeah.
And if you're living in a reality right now, if your world right now is not something that you're happy with, then there's probably something that you believe that's not in alignment with who you wanna become.
Yeah.
Like, it's an outdated belief, and your approach to your business and your entrepreneurial journey is probably way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of various reasons for that. Now, this is not by any means like a some sort of excuse that work is not required. Work is required.
Oh, for sure.
You're just changing. You're being forced to change the vehicle and how you approach it. So, even for whenever when you're on the one block journey, there's a lot of effort that's gonna be put in to doing that one block. Um, but it's really helping to further refine and define who you are and what your beliefs are, what your perspectives are, and ultimately help you to see what vehicles you have as opportunities to accelerate that for your 10 block journey. Um,
Yeah, you run one block and now you're a block away from your car.
well, I guess in that scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is important for people to have that perspective shift and even to see that in the analogy of the one block journey and the 10 block journey and how you would choose a different vehicle because there's a lot of people who are stuck in a one block cycle and they're just running around the block constantly and are almost on the verge of exhaustion and want to give up because they're judging their self and their performance based on the concept of it should be faster. But in reality, their beliefs are limiting them to the speed at which they can actually accomplish this. Now, if they were to change vehicles, it could be faster,
Mhm. For sure.
but their entire world, their entire framework and their thought process, like, I'll make it more plain. If you think you have to spend more time working and you have to put in more hours, you got to put in longer hours, you got to work really, 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 really hard to, make something happen, then you are forever going to be trapped in having to work hard and long hours. And what you're wanting to happen is not going to happen because you are stuck sprinting around the block. Now, if you can find a new vehicle to break your time and money dependency and you find a new vehicle, then sure, the person who's sprinting down the block is going to get to the end of that block faster than you can get in your car, turn it on, back it up, get it pointed in the right direction and start going. But you will certainly beat them to the 10th block. And in this scenario, there's no traffic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, Evan, for me, the greatest business advice, and we'll wrap this up. The greatest business advice that I could give to anybody, just in this journey, just thinking back over the past few months of being on these one-on-one coaching calls, is just how important it is for you to do the think work up front. Just how important it is for you to really dial in, like, hey, I know that I have this kind of knowledge, this kind of expertise, and this marries with my passion. And I want to serve people that are in this niche. And then once I pick my niche, I'm going to really start creating in my mind an ideal customer avatar, which is that's a person that you're making up in your mind and you can put on paper that that reflects the kind of customer you want to reach. And you just get obsessed about solving that person's problem with the knowledge and expertise and passion that you have. If you will do all of that think work up front and think about the ways that you could serve that person and think about how to deliver that to that person, that that what I just shared with you, if people would actually take the time to flesh out those details, everything else would accelerate immediately
Mhm.
because all of your emails are going to flow from that. All of your content on social media flows from that. All of your offers that you're going to make and the courses that you're going to make and the marketing that you're going to make, all of that flows from knowing who you are, what you're about, and who you want to serve.
It's the big domino decision.
Exactly. And when you do that, it's a game changer. And so that's my encouragement for people today. And you're so right. Um, 10x is so much easier than 2x. But I think that 10x thought process comes when people do the hard work, the think work.
Mhm.
And it's like, even like yesterday, just sitting down and going, okay, here's what we're going to do. And you're like, no, you're not going to trade more hours for dollars. Now, let me say this last point. You're not going to, Mark, you're not going to do that call because you're already doing one-on-one calls and you're not going to have enough time to actually build the business because you're on the phone with all excuse me, all these people. So, that leads me to my last point, which is this. The way that you can save time, make wise decisions is you need a coach. You need a business coach. You need a person that that you can go to, and they can give you the next step and take the guesswork out. And you need a person in your life who can say, "Hey, yeah, you could sprint 1 block, but you could drive 10 by the time that, person could even get 2 blocks down the road. You can accelerate this process. You can, uh, crunch time, if you will." Like, I always use the example of me when I started teaching authors about self-publishing. I was like, "Guys," I did a 6-week challenge for authors, and what I call authorpreneurs, and which that whole course is inside that 6-week challenge is inside Wise Builders Business Community. But I tell people, I'm like, "I am about to take 10 years of my experience as a traditionally published and self-published author, and I'm about to give you everything you need to know to turn your book into a business in 6 weeks." And I did. And could you imagine, like, the power of getting 10 years of experience in a 6-week time period? That is a great exchange. And that's why people that complain about price, I'm like, you don't get it. You're gonna pay with either time or money.
That's right.
Yeah, there's 2 forms of currency right now in our equation, in our economy, and you're gonna pay with time, you're gonna pay with money. And I would much rather pay money to save time.
Mhm.
And so my encouragement to the people watching today is, this is why, and this is a shameless pitch. This is why you need to join Wise Builders Business Community, because we're able to show you the vehicle you have that you don't even know about right now, to provide coaching and training that you don't even know about yet. Um, there are tools and resources that can save you time. Some of you are out there thinking, "Man, I love these ebooks that I get from people when I sign up for their email list." You could write one too, and it's a lot easier than you could ever imagine. But you have to have the right coach. You have to have the right person in your corner telling you the vehicle that you have, and you can actually accelerate your results if you have somebody in your corner that can coach you and tell you what the next step is. And so that's what we've done in Wise Builders Business Community. I encourage you right now, if you're on the fence, first of all, let me say this. If you are still trading hours for dollars, working a 9 to 5 job that you're not even passionate about, and you are living paycheck to paycheck, and you are just sick of never having any type of financial freedom, then you need to join Wise Builders Business Community. And I'm not saying that there's not work involved. What I'm saying is, I'm going to teach you how to create wealth using the tools and resources that are available on online space, and you're going to save time, and which means you're going to have more time to create wealth and to be able to do something you're actually passionate about. Not what's worse than being broke? What's worse than being broke? Being bored and broke. What's worse than being broke? Being broke and working a job you don't love. What's worse than being broke? Working a job that keeps you broke and not having time with your kids. What's worse than being broke? There's way more things worse than being broke, and being broke means you can't fix any of that. So maybe it's time some of us believers tap into Ecclesiastes that says money answers all things.
Mhm.
Maybe instead of following the lie that money's the root of all evil, it's actually the love of money that is the root of all evil. And what I'm working for in my business has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with my time, my family, and my generosity, and what it empowers me to do to fulfill the will of God in my life. And it just so happens that all of those things take money. So my pursuit is not money. People say, "Mark, why did you leave being a preacher and now you're doing the business thing?" Oh, well, first of all, I never stopped preaching. I'm still right here in Covington, Georgia. And if you want to come experience preaching and teaching, I do it here all the time. But I've made this shift into business because first of all, I believe God gave me this assignment to help with this entrepreneurial revolution, but also like money accelerates the process of everything that I want to do for my family, for my friends, for our ministry, even. And so it has nothing to do with the love of money, but has everything to do with God has given us the power to create wealth that we might establish his covenant in the earth. Well, what is his covenant? It has a lot to do with my family. It has a lot to do with the ministry he's called me to. And I'm tired of living dependent on broke people's opinions about what a pastor should do. So there's there's my rant. This is why I need a podcast every single day. I just come in here from like 9 to 10 and just riff on everything because I have a lot of things that I feel like need to be shared and would be helpful to people. But um, yeah, I mean, you need somebody that can be in your corner, coach you, show you what's actually possible for your life. And that's why I started Wise Builders Business Community. There are so many options for you. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to continue trading hours for dollars. This is not a get rich quick scheme, and this is not me trying to give you a product that I've already created for you to sell to somebody else. This is me teaching you how to tap into your God given potential, your own knowledge, expertise, and passion, and translate that into a digital product that can serve other people well. That's it.
Join Wise Builders Business Community today.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here. And as always, what an honor it is to have you and to have you a part of this live. And I pray that you will take this next step with us in the journey, which is joining Wise Builders Business Community. Right now in the month of September, I'm going live every single day at 12 noon, Monday through Thursday, accelerating results for you. Every Tuesday at 12 o'clock in the month of September, my friend Orlando Hernandez is doing, he's worked at the Ritz-Carlton, Disney Resorts, Sheraton. He's amazing. Apple. He's amazing when it comes to hospitality. He's teaching hospitality for the digital entrepreneur. It's amazing teaching. You are missing out on incredible leadership training and business training if you're not in Wise Builders Business Community. So go sign up. Also, there's a link below for you to get those scripts. You say, Mark, I really want to take my Instagram to the next level. There's a link below in the description for those scripted reels and the template that we use for viral videos. Go check that out as well. And we'll see you next Friday for another edition of Wise Builders Live. See you soon.